I'm on an adventure, buddy. I'll tell you what. I just got a free lift to the hotel. Yeah, right. I'm not staying at the hotel. I'm walking. That just got me closer to my destination. There's my stuff waiting by the bus stop. Alright, I'd say I got about 2 hours of sunlight. And I gotta make it over to those salt flats over there, which I think aren't flooded right now. And then I'm gonna cross over to that island right there. Probably have to do that tomorrow, camp on the salt flats tonight. There it is, the Great Salt Lake. Check out that. Alright, so the lake's out there. I'm taking this path because it's too muddy on both sides. Getting pretty far from civilization now. I'm almost to where I could camp if I needed to. But I'm gonna see how far I can make it before the sun goes down. There's these burrows. They're like little dens. Some animals hibernating down there. Whatever it is, it's big. I wonder. There's another one. It's like a perfectly circular hole. I wonder what lives in there. Oh no, I've reached a river. However will I cross? This rusty bar? Perhaps. Oh man, I'm gonna get soaked if I fall in. Alright, I gotta lock in now. That is sketchy. And this is too deep, I'm gonna get soaked. Okay, this is my technique. I really hope this works. I actually made it, that hurt. I made it, oh my gosh. All right, made it to the railroad track. I think the lake's right over on the other side. Let's see. Someone's definitely doing some duck hunting out here. I saw some shotgun shells earlier too. Ready to see what's over this railroad track. All right, I don't know how long, but this is my road now. Starting to see a lot of birds. I just heard some gunfire or something over there. Something's popping and making some loud noises. Gotta admit, this is a pretty brutal hike. Almost, I know there's gonna be some chafing, but I'm just so happy to be here. I'm loving this. I'm gonna do what it takes. I'm gonna get to that mountain over there. All right, I've come a very long ways. This is what I got ahead. Lots of water. So I think I might either walk down to the shoreline keep going, or use this flat area as an opportunity to set up my tent where it's nice and dry. A new trail for a little while. Yeah, that's all muddy mush out there. My only chance for a tent is going to be this sandy bank right here. Let's see how far we can make it tonight. Yeah, someone's definitely shooting the shotgun over there. I just heard like 6 shots. 5 shots actually. Well, I know I'm still on private land right here, so I don't feel super comfortable camping here. I'm gonna have to keep hiking into the night until I get to the BLM land, which is a little bit more than twice as far as I've already come. Which took me about an hour to get here. So another hour or 2 of hiking and should be where I'm supposed to be. I'm gonna eat this pickle and drink the juice. I think it'll take away the soreness, give me some energy that I need to make it to where I need to go. Walking on this crooked ground's putting too much unnecessary pressure on my left knee. So I'm gonna go back up to the railroad tracks where it's flat. There's that duck hunter guy. There's his vehicle. I don't know where he is though. Oh, there he is. That guy was actually a lot closer than I thought, so I'm gonna stay down here until I get a decent ways down. Sun's setting. But I realize I'm gonna be totally fine walking into the night. It's a full moon tonight. Kind of feels like Lord of the Rings out here. Just walking and walking and walking and walking and walking. It's pretty dark now. Just laying down, taking a break. I think I might sleep a little bit, set up my tent. If I wake up early enough, right as the sun's coming up, I'll be out of here before anyone even knows I'm here. Wow, what a long day. I haven't slept for like 24 hours, I think now. No, yeah, something like that. And I'm gonna set up my tent right here. Get some well-needed sleep tonight. Should probably go right to sleep. Sleep for like 10 or 11 hours, jeez. And I'll get up and see how I feel in the morning. There's my beautiful tent, glistening in the moonlight. All right, I'm in my cozy little tent. It is it's 7:05 p.m. I'm going to bed right now. I'm so tired. Good night, see you in the morning. It's 7:30 a.m. We got our first signs of light. I slept okay. Got a lot of rest. So I got 2 pairs of clothes. Hiking out here, I got pretty sweaty and pretty stinky, honestly, so I'm gonna switch. I was wearing my clean clothes while I was sleeping, so I'm gonna switch from my clean clothes back into my dirty clothes for the hike so that when I sleep tonight, I can be wearing clean clothes again. It was probably about 35 degrees last night, so the outside of my sleeping bag and the inside of the tent did get a little bit of dew forming, but for the most part, I actually stayed pretty cozy and dry in this tent with this wool blanket beneath me and my sleeping pad, and then my sleeping bag staying inside of that. I think it's like a 30 degree sleeping bag. I also had this towel inside the sleeping bag wrapping over my legs and feet to keep me warm. And I had my jacket right here at the head of the sleeping bag so I could lay my head there to keep a little warmer. There's a built-in pillow on this, so I didn't need a pillow. Last night I was so exhausted, I was not sure how I'd feel in the morning about hiking some more, but I'm actually feeling very rejuvenated and well rested. But let's see how I feel after taking down the tent. So at some point last night, I must have been dead asleep, because when that train went by, I was like half in a dream state. For whatever reason, I thought I was on the tracks. That train was barreling down. I 100% legitimately thought I was about to get crushed by a train. And my reaction followed. I literally, I think I was in my sleeping bag. I half remember it. I jumped up. was screaming because I feel it in my voice is a little scratchy. I definitely was screaming, and I was thrashing at my bag, trying to free my arms, which were just, it's a totally zipped up sleeping bag. So I was stuck in this thing, and I must have moved the tent around so much because both of my stakes popped out. I had to come back and stick that one in there to have this rain fly covering my stuff to keep it dry from the dew, but both of the stakes were popped out. So yeah, that really got my adrenaline pumping. Took me a minute to fall back to sleep after that. Huh, I think here comes another train now. So I think I'll go ahead and record this, show you how freaking loud it is. Needless to say, hopefully I'll never make the choice to camp right next to a train station again. That's it. Short and sweet. So glad I decided to bring a towel. I just used it to dry some of the dew and water off of this sleeping pad before I deflate it and put it away. I don't want mildew in my backpack. You'd think with something so beautiful to motivate you to wake up every day, every morning, that I'd be more of a morning person in my regular life. My rain fly got a lot of water on it, even though it didn't rain last night. So I flipped it inside out and set it on these bushes, hopefully air dry a little bit. But it definitely got some water on my tent too. I was out of my tent barefoot last night, so I used this rag to clean all the dirt off my feet before getting in as I was sitting in with my feet out. And I just shook off all the dirt, and I think it's good for another use tonight. Alright, so I just used the rag to kind of dap up and dry off the tent a little bit. It actually worked pretty good too. Tent's all picked up. You can see the imprint where I was laying. Feet were there, head was there. I found the perfect rock to sit on up on the perch with a nice view of my objective, that island. Now, it's not a complete island because if you see right out in front, there's some salt flats. That's where I'm going to be walking to get there. I'm actually a lot closer than I thought last night when I was looking. It's too dark to see it, but there's salt flats out there. Just gotta continue my path this way until I can reach right here where it's dry, and then walk right there all the way over to this island mountain. Breakfast. So yesterday, the chafing didn't become too big of an issue, but I want to take some preventative measures today. So I've got a plan, and it involves this fatty, what it says right there, fatty beef stick. Still got some left over from yesterday. And this. I'm gonna start a little fire. I'm gonna cook that a little bit, render out some of the fat, and I'm gonna use that to apply to some of the chafing areas on my body. I just need to find some dry sticks. Hopefully these will do. Where you got a big plant like this, usually there's two plants that were competing. One of them won and is alive, and the other one's dead. You can see we got the dead one right here. We also got some tumbleweeds that got caught in here, so that's all dry stuff that I can burn. So this shape's called a log cabin. I dug a hole so air can flow under. I stuck two big pieces there, two across there, and I'll stick a bunch of little stuff here and make sure it's fluffy, really fluffy, so air can get in. The toilet paper will ignite and this whole fire will get going. Okay, so a little something like that. Nice and fluffy on top. Perfect. I gathered some of these grass tops from the grass growing down there by the lake. I'm gonna add that to it too. We'll see, maybe this will burn, I think it will. I'm gonna just kind of set that right there. I'm gonna fluff it up a little bit. Put some more sticks around the outsides so those can catch a little bit around here. Create kind of like a nest going up. You don't want to put too much on top because you want to let the flames get through those little cracks. That's what's going to allow it to ignite. Attached a piece of toilet paper to the end of a stick, lit it, get that under there to light my other toilet papers. See, those little things just light right up. So this whole thing hopefully should get going easy. All right, a nice hot spot in the middle. I built this nest around the outside because all the wood's a little bit damp right now from the morning. So if the wood around the outside, it'll help dry it and then it'll start to burn more easily. It'll kind of travel around to wherever it's easiest to burn. Avoid using branches that are pointing down and touching the ground because those are going to be wet. You want the dry stuff that's poking up into the air like this, nice and dry. And just keep piling stuff up around, nice and fluffy. It's all gonna just burn down in the middle, build up a nice bed of coals, and I can cook. Now it's more kind of a teepee shape. So I went from log cabin to bird's nest to teepees. This fire needs a home. Now that it's going really good, I'm using bigger pieces like this. I just put some slightly wet stuff on it, so it started making a lot of smoke. And to fix that, I just went like this. And it lights up all the smoke. All right, now to render the fat out of this beef stick, I'm gonna cut it up into little slices. I'm gonna add a little bit of water to the pot and we'll put it all in the pot. By the time the water boils away and evaporates, I should have a decent amount of fat rendered out of this, and it'll actually make it really crispy. And then I can eat those little pieces, and then use the fat. Okay, that's perfect. There's still a little water down in the corner there. So when it cools down, hopefully there will be some fat in that. I'm gonna eat this while it's hot. Yeah, definitely got some fat down there in the bottom. A little bit of water, but you can see the fat. The water's going underneath it. I think that'll be enough. It ain't pretty, but it'll definitely stop the chafing. All right. Everything's packed up. I'm back at it. Walking. My next landmark is gonna be the highway right over there. And I got some ways to go that way. So today's January 3rd. It's 10:25 a.m. and it's a Saturday. Yesterday, I was up at about 6 a.m. I used the UTA, Utah Transit System, from buses to trains to get from Harriman, where I live in Utah, all the way to the Salt Lake City airport. And then from there, I was able to get on a free shuttle from the airport to the hotels that were just west of the airport. And then I used another bus in the transit system took it all the way down to Lakeside, which is near Tooele, Utah. And that's where I was done riding. And that's where I started walking from the Chevron right there. I was able to cross the road and hike all the way to where I'm at now. I don't know how many miles I've gone. I suppose I could figure that out. But yeah, yesterday, day one, was a great success. And day two is going very, very well right now. I'm out here by the beautiful Great Salt Lake, heading over to the island over there. I really should know the name of it. Hold on. Okay, so I've walked about 5.4 miles, almost 5.5 miles. And that island over there is called Stansbury Island, near the town of Stansbury Park over there. So yeah, maybe if it's called Stansbury Island, then maybe there's some berries over there, some Stansberries, fresh berries I can eat. Probably not this time of year, but I wonder. So there it is, Stansbury Island. And then I'm walking this way. I have a view of these really nice mountains up here. I don't know what those are called. I guess I could also look that up right now. Figure it out. Okay, so that is Deseret Peak. So the Deseret Mountain Range, I don't know, maybe. There's a lot of trees up there though. On top of there, over in those. All right, I'm getting pretty close to where the road starts to curve and go that way. Landmark. Over here, right at the edge of the lake, almost to dry land, where I can start walking across that way. Okay, I just looked it up. I've got about 11.5 miles to go if I want to make it to the road that goes along the edge of that mountain. Here comes the train. All right, so I hit the curve a little bit ago. I looked to my right and I realized looks like it's bone dry out there. Like I could be walking just straight that way, but I think there's a big wash over there. I'm gonna end up having to go up a little bit anyways to cross that. So that's the plan. All right, it was too tempting to cross over to that dry stuff, so I'm gonna see if I can get across these reeds. Hopefully it's not too soggy. If not, I'll just go up a little more. See if I can get over to that sand. Oh yeah, this ain't even soggy at all. I think I'm gonna be able to get right across. All right. Funny enough, I recently just was randomly watching some YouTube videos about quicksand, where if there's water underneath the surface bubbling up under a bunch of sand, it can create the conditions for quicksand. It's just a little wet out here, but who knows what's out there. Funny how everything kind of happens for a reason. It's like the universe knew I was about to go on this adventure. It's a little nerve-wracking walking away from the highway out into this wide open desert. I got like 12 miles ahead of me pretty much. Hope I don't get stranded out here. Just keep walking. All right, so if I'm walking at about 3 miles an hour and that mountain's 12 miles away, then I'll be there in about 6 hours. Okay, never mind. The map measurement said I only have 9.1 miles to where I'm trying to go, at least to where I can be picked up. So that'll only take me just a little over 3 hours, depending on if I take breaks. It's 11:18 right now, so let's see if I get there around 12:18. That's 3 hours. Maybe I'll be there at about 1. That's actually not too bad. Looks like there's maybe someone camping out there in a tent or something. No, metal container, I don't know what that is. Vehicle maybe? It almost kind of looks like a train caboose or the front of a train. Huh. All around me, you can see these horizontal lines in the mountains right at the base. You see it there. You can see it there. The line, it just goes this way. And you can see it over here as well. Horizontal lines right at the base of the mountain. So that's the ancient shoreline of Lake Bonneville. When the last glacial ice melt happened, this area of Utah is known as the Great Basin because it's like a great big bowl that filled up with water, and there was a giant lake that filled up this entire area. And this really was an island back there. Stansbury Island. It was a true island I can just walk to. And yeah, it was just so massive. And the Great Salt Lake is what's left of Lake Bonneville. Very interesting. The ground is getting more and more muddy as I head in this direction near where that wash is I was talking about. I've already stepped in some spots that were pretty slick, like I'm actually finding quicksand. If I need to, I'll hike up the wash and around to get to my destination, which will add on some time, but yeah, it makes me a little nervous is all. It's not like you're gonna sink into the quicksand like in the movies. It's more a risk of getting trapped in it or just creating extra exhaustion, which I don't need after already carrying this backpack. So, yeah. This gets really sketchy. It's my least favorite part so far. I'm getting circled by this crow. It's like he knows. You see an animal out here, they get stuck in the mud. We all know what comes next. Seems like it's slowly getting thicker and thicker. I really hope it doesn't get too thick and I can make it through this. I can see the other end over there where the elevation rises and there's some plants growing right there. That's where I need to go. There's a little more ways. So I'll be walking and it's hard surface and then just randomly, boom, it sinks in. Oh geez, this is sketchy. Okay, well, on a positive note, most of it is hard. And there's just these one random spots that are like really deep. I'm actually starting to see a pattern. So where it's dark right here, it's always pretty hard to walk around, but in the middle it's a little softer. And obviously in the water, it's a lot softer. So I kind of just gotta like go around on these dark spots and I'm pretty much good. Literally right after I said that, I could step on this black stuff. But literally right there, the most quicksandiest quicksand I've met yet. So I don't want to walk in that. It's starting to get pretty consistent though. Dark ring, circle, quicksand. Nice dark ring circle. I'm guessing quicksand. Dark ring circle. So this is just what I gotta do till I get over to the elevated land over there. So I keep seeing these shapes. I'm like, those look like crystals. So I picked one up. And it's a big old salt crystal. I tasted it. It is salt. There, I just cleaned it off. So you can really tell the crystalline structure. Alright, quite the journey ahead. Lots of water, and then no land for a minute, and then dry land. Not far away. I can make it. So close. Okay, at this point I have two options. See what it's like to cross this and get to that land. It's so close. Hopefully it's not too muddy. Or go all the way up there and go around the water over here. I'm gonna try to go through this first, and if it proves to be way too muddy, then I'll go around. I literally almost just got stuck in quicksand right there. It was kind of bad. Oh, a difficult decision. I think I'm gonna have to go around. There is a clear pattern. If I stick to it, it's hard, but like that line and it gets soft. It's like, oh, I don't know. Is it all gonna turn into this? It's hard to say. I'm gonna go around. That land right there is so tempting, but I know it gets a little deeper that way. So I'm gonna go all the way around. Back the way, well, not quite the way I came, but in the opposite direction, yeah. So what I'm doing right now, because walking on flat land has never been so stressful. With each step I take, I'm saying in my head, solid, solid, solid. Oh, not solid. So So then I return to my right foot. And then I've tried to find another spot. Solid, 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 solid. Every once in a while there's one that's not solid, and if I go 2 feet not solid, that's when I'm in trouble. Because the more I struggle, the deeper I go, and it's hard to get out. But I just gotta make it up to there and get to where it dries out. Okay, I'm almost out of this. As you can see, my path has been pretty windy, which adds on a lot more miles. And I haven't been able to set my backpack down and take a break or eat anything, drink any water since I've been in this mud, so I'm ready to get out. So hopefully I'll get out pretty soon. So it's still pretty muddy, but I think I'm clear out of the quicksand territory. So I'm just gonna make it over to that dry land, take a break. I've actually crossed a trail of someone else a couple times. Definitely wasn't mine, and now crossing this trail, looks like I don't see any claw marks in the front, so it looks like it could be a cat, some sort of cat trail. You can really see it on these ones. Looks like it might be a dog, but there's no claw marks on the front, and dogs can't retract their claws, but cats can. Also, there's another shape in there on the heel. It's like an upside down heart, so that could mean that it's a cat as well, whereas dogs would just be more like a circle. Okay, I think I'm in the clear. I've got like 5 minutes to a patch of dry land where I can finally take a break. That was so scary. Thought I was gonna cross this and it was gonna be muddy. Look at this stick. If I push it in the ground, it goes way deep down there. It was even deeper over there. I really thought I was gonna get stuck. Whoo! The load off my mind. Yeah. All right, no more mud. Thank goodness. Oh, that was such a relief. Getting so close to that land right there too. Got a couple hours till dark, but probably take a break and then go a little farther. Set up camp right over there. There's some more good land over there with some brush. Maybe I could have a fire in the morning. All right, that break was well needed. We're just gonna hike for another 10 minutes, about a half a mile to that land right there. Gotta cross a river, so hopefully it's not muddy again. But I think that high point right there is gonna be a good spot to camp for the night. Okay, I've reached this river. Now the question is it crossable? Am I gonna be lucky and be able to sleep right there tonight? Or am I gonna have to walk all the way up and around this river? Good thing I found this stick. I can check how muddy it is. Sweet, there was some salt rocks in the river, so I'm just walking right across. I'm gonna be able to go set up my tent. All right, just up ahead. Set up my tent here and plenty of brush to have a fire with tonight. Amazing. No fire tonight. I meant a fire in the morning. Too tired to have a fire tonight. That was a day. I'm exhausted. I think I'm gonna say this is my tent spot right here. It's got a nice windbreak from the brush, and that'll also block some of the noise from the highway down there. Okay, I found a bigger pile of brush, so I think I'm actually gonna set up my tent right here. This looks like a really good spot. Gonna take a little break for setting up my tent. It's pretty cold out there, so this is me all cozy in my sleeping bag. It's gotten a little bit windy today, so I'm just laying here, listening to the wind.
It's 8 a.m. I'm awake, but I think I'm gonna lay here a little longer. I slept so good last night. Best sleep since I've been on this adventure. All right, it's 10 a.m. I slept in quite a bit. Last night I was walking already at 10 a.m. I was up at 7, but I slept in more today. I just had a little bit of a headache last night and a little bit this morning, so just getting more rest, drinking some water. My cousin's gonna pick me up at the road, so I only have like 5 miles to hike today, so should be a pretty easy day. Fun. So I've been able to keep my phone charged with this awesome device, Anchor, and you press the button. You see I've still got half the battery in this, and I've charged my phone like 3 times. So I have a cord, you just plug it into there, and then on the other side I can use this to charge my phone and to charge my headlamp, which I haven't needed yet. But yeah, this has been a game changer. So I've been able to record the video and do all the research and whatever I need on my phone and not worry one bit about running out of battery. The only time I was worried was when I was walking through that mud and I thought I was gonna get stuck or fall and just have to struggle to get out. All my stuff gets wet and ruins my battery pack and gets my sleeping bag wet. All those thoughts going through my mind. I'm so glad that I got out of that safe, and oh man, this has just been a great adventure. So when I was out in the water, I found this really big salt crystal. I accidentally just broke it, but check out how cool that looks. Shiny. So I've been on a lot of camping and hiking trips, and there's little things that you don't realize that you're learning along the way. Like, for example, how tight to wear your boots. I used to wear them too tight or too loose, and I think I just came up with a good way to explain how, like, I got it perfect now. Is basically you got to imagine you're putting boots on a baby. Like, you want the boots to be firm and not fall off and be, good, but you don't want it to be squeezing your feet at all. I found that keeps my feet comfortable for the long walk. So I found this stake when I was out hiking through the mud, and right now I'm using it as a backrest. So stake it in the ground, lean my backpack up against that, and then I can sit with a backrest being my backpack and have a little fire right there to start off the day. Just like that. There's plenty of dead firewood right here. Goal is just going to be to not burn it all down with my little fire right there, but luckily the wind's blowing in this direction, so it'll take the flames away from the big dead pile of brush. That's actually why I chose this spot, because that big pile blocks the wind pretty good. If you can hear, there's wind here, but if I come down here, no wind. gosh, it's so delicious. So good. A little bit of apple, a little bit of meat. That works. All right, so I spread out the ashes, then I covered it all up really good with wet sand. There's no way the wind's gonna come and blow an ash or an ember into this big pile of brush, so we're good there. Everything's packed up, my jacket, my backpack, got plenty of water, everything's good. We're gonna head out in that direction. Should take me about 2 hours to get to right where that mountain right there, that ridge comes to the bottom. I think that's right where I'm aiming for. If not, it's gonna be a little to the left of that, but either way, we'll be on our way. Thank you for this location, best location. Feeling grateful, feeling alive, feeling really good. So let's keep it going. All right, and we're off. Day 3. Whatever animal came walking through here, I think it was really big. Look how wide apart those footprints are. Like, it was either running or it's just a big animal. Looks like a dog of some sort. Definitely could be a cat, I don't know. I left at 1 o'clock, so should be there by 3, maybe a little earlier. But I'm guessing around 3 o'clock I'll be there. I'm walking at 3 miles an hour. I've got just under 6 miles to go to get there. Just passed my last patch of brush and whatnot, and now it looks like I've got nothing but just flat sand and salt ahead. Just about as far as the eye can see. And in that direction, literally as far as the eye can see. Flat sand in all directions. I'm fortunate right now that the wind is going in my direction. In other words, the wind is at my back. Another thing, I'm very fortunate that there's no dust in the air because the ground, even though it's dry, is still wet, muddy a little bit. To keep the dust down, it's perfect. Okay, these ones are definitely coyote tracks because you can see right on the tips of the toes the little claw marks, the toenails, and you could tell also the shape of the foot. And yeah, it looks like multiple tracks of them heading out in that direction. So even though I'm walking on the bottom of an ancient lake bed right now, I just looked and I'm still 4,200 feet in elevation above sea level. Probably the freshest looking. Definitely a coyote. We out here, Salt Flats, as far as the eye can see. My cousin's gonna pick me up over there at Stansbury Island, so everything worked out perfectly. Just looking back the way I came, this is probably the most surrounded by sand I've been this entire trip in all directions. It's quite a little bit colder today than it has been the last couple days, and I think it's because the wind is blowing directly from there. A snowstorm. It's not too bad though. Got about 1 hour to go.
Getting really close. So getting pretty close. This is Stansbury Island. If you look over there, that's Antelope Island. It's called Antelope Island. There's a lot of bison, wild bison that roam around on the island. So why they don't call it Bison Island, I don't know. But I heard there might be some bison here on Stansbury Island as well. So that'd be really cool if we get to see some bison. That's the last of my food. This whole trip, I'm gonna eat this right now to fuel my last little 30 minutes or so that I have left before I get to Stansbury Island. So I remember hearing one time that the Salt Lake Flats are a good place to find meteorites that have hit the earth. So I've been collecting a couple black rocks, you know, you never know, but I just saw this one. This thing's freaking huge. But it's got some other stuff, I don't know. I don't know how to tell, but yeah, I don't know. That'd be cool if it was. Yeah, there are a lot of random black rocks out here though, so I don't know, probably just rocks. I've seen boards and wood and stuff out here somewhat frequently, and every time I see it, it's really just falling apart, kind of rotten. I'm just sitting in the, it's kind of like damp. The whole lake bed out here is just kind of a little bit damp, so a little bit muddy. It's an interesting rock. Kind of looks like it has some claw marks on it. Yeah, it might seem like there's just nothing out here, but come out here alone and spend all day, there's a lot to see. It's so beautiful, so amazing. Of course, my time out here, there's been a lot of things that I've seen and thought, oh, that's interesting, but I didn't record it. So I don't know how much stuff I should just record or just kind of keep to myself, but it feels like the perfect amount to me. I'm not gonna leave anything out. If I recorded it, it's going into the video, so this is gonna be a long video. Trying to get a lot of good video of this island because it's huge. It's so much bigger when I get closer to it. I can see all the little details. It'd be fun to come again and explore the island. Looks like an old tractor seat or something. There's a lot of wood scattered all along right over there. Like it just floated and when there was water here and then just settled there when the lake subsided. I think maybe from an old house or I don't know. That's just my take, but tell me what you think in the comments. That's cake into my shoes. My feet heavy, kind of hard to walk in. I'm really close to some elevated land right there, some dry stuff. So I'm gonna walk over there and then continue down the road. That's over there in that direction towards the island. It's like an old rope. It's really tight, woven. It was attached here to my walls. Looks like a piece of it off later and see what it is. Keep looking back. I find it really interesting to look at my path in the mud. It's winding. Not quite straight, it just disappears. It's interesting. Oh man, mud has become my worst enemy out here. It is really hard to walk in the mud, man. Whew. I'm so close to that dry land, but it just got really muddy. And I'm really hoping it doesn't get worse up there. Okay, I can do this. Okay. I made it. Whew. Oh yeah. Not bad. Let's see what's over this ridge. It's a lake and a road, and that is probably why it's so muddy over here. Groundwater flowing. Phew. One last look back at my mud trail. It just disappears. You can't even see the piece of land that I camped on this morning. Way out there. This is my road. Not too far down there is where I'm gonna meet my cousin Reese, and he's coming to pick me up. So the journey is almost over, but the adventure never ends. There it is. Got about 5 more minutes and I will be on Stansbury Island. So my original plan was to come through from out there through here, which I'm glad I changed my mind and decided to go this way up to this, because that is a lot of mud out there. Whew. All right, I made it, baby. Stansbury Island. I'm here. The end of my journey. But the adventure never ends, because life is an adventure, and you're capable always of more than you think, and anything's possible. So go out there and do it. Yeah. I think that's my guy right there. I think that's Reese. Oh man, I haven't seen a human in 3 days. Woo, that's Reese. That's my buddy. I think he's peeing. Oh, you're awesome, Reese. I love you, man. Woo.